So everything in front of me is very, very serious. Some of these cognacs get up to like 50 years old. When you're talking about stuff like this, these things really deserve your respect. You really need to take your time, give them multiple rounds to kind of get to know them, kind of see, how they behave with air, with water, as as your own palate adjusts to them. That's how it's supposed to go. The problem is, I ain't got time for that. You got time for that? I ain't got time for that. So instead, what I've done is pour these samples. I have no notes, and we're just going to go through them and see what's what. I don't even know if I'm going to score these. I just wanted to try them because, well, basically, I'm turning 40 later this year, and I wanted to buy something special for that. Maybe a few special things. And some of these are candidates on my list, so I want to see how good they are. All right, so let's get started. I'm trying a new setup today. We're going to do bottles in front of the relevant glasses. See how that goes. So we've got, basically these are all Grosperrins and Jean-Luc Pasquets, who are pretty much the two leading nerdy indie negociant cognac bottlers. 3 from each. And we're going to go in sort of descending chronological order, which is also basically increasing price order. So first of all, a Grosperrin Fonbois from 83. This is lot 488. Next up is going to be another Grosperrin. This is from 82. This is a Petite Champagne, sorry. Then we're moving on to a JLP. This is a Grand Champagne from 75. It's written as lot 75, but that's just their way of declaring a vintage without having to go through the enormous bureaucratic pain in the butt that actually declaring a vintage is. Then we're back to Grosperrin, Petite Champagne, 71, lot 642. Some of these are Aficionados picks, by the way. I think that's just the Pasquets, but I don't know. I will put notes below. Then Jean-Luc Pasquet Grand Champagne. This is a 1970, lot 70, also an A-fish pick. And last up, this was actually a blend of barrels, so several barrels that were blended together, barrels from different vintages, and then kind of separated and aged again. So this is called lot 68 through 72. So it's a blend of vintages. Jean-Luc Pasquet, also an A-fish pick. Maybe the strongest one here. I don't know. We'll see. All right. Anyways, let's get this started. Starting with the Grosperrin 83. This is a Fonbois. So outside of the big popular regions, we're out in the boonies a little bit. Lot 48, 48.5% alcohol. As I remember, this is very reasonably priced. Let's see how it goes. Okay. So I'm getting a very classic, well, cognac-y, but really like a bois kind of profile. It's very fruity. It's very grapey. Yeah, just like lots of golden grapes, raisins, and then some floral notes. Remember, this is still cognac. Mixed flowers, a little bit of grassiness going on. Slightly metallic, a little bit of rust. More dried fruit coming in, some prunes, figs, dried cherries, a little apricot. Brown sugar. I don't usually get brown sugar in cognac, but I'm getting it here. A pretty nose, a very modest nose. But, that's... it's very much, in keeping with the bois kinds of distillates. All right, let's see what happens on the palate. Also very nice and very much in keeping with bois cognac. So I was worried that a lot of these would, at the ages we're talking about, would just get too oaky. And what I was hoping someone would do what this is doing, which is being, you know, quite oaked, but at the same time maintaining this beautiful cognac-y freshness. There's a lot of flowers on this. Yeah, lots of stuff happening that mirrors the nose. Grapes, different kinds of grapes. Golden grapes, some like red organic grapes a little bit, or maybe a little bit overripe, but mixed in with a bunch of dandelions, some freshly cut grass, even some herbaceousness, like some little bit of not basil, like a parsley and dillweed thing going on. Dried fruit, again, that's coming from the cask. Brown sugar again, mix of honeys, mainly wildflower honey, and black tea, like overstewed black tea that kind of comes into the palate. It's a nice dry finish, not, you know, doesn't have the most authority on my palate, but it's nice. Okay. That's okay. It's not the most extraordinary thing I've ever had, but I mean, if you're born in '83 and you're looking for a vintage pick, this is probably worth your money. All right, this is 48-ish, so I'm not going to give it too much water, like another half squirt or so. Oh man, this is going to be one of those hour-longish kinds of videos, isn't it? Okay, moving on. This is another Grosperrin, the 82. Lot 570, 46.3% alcohol. But look at how light that color is. For something that's been in barrel for 40, you know, pushing 40 years. So I'm really hoping this one is good because birth year, you know, cognac. Nose is actually pretty closed. It's lightly herbaceous. So I'm getting, yeah, parsley again, hints of thyme, grass and kind of mixed wildflowers again, white pepper, even a touch of raw ginger, a little, maybe, no, not raw, like little powdered ginger in there, a little bit. If you persevere, I start to get a little bit of fig. Actually some peach, like dried peach coming through as well. But yeah, very quiet on the nose. A little bit aromatically challenged this, but let's see what's happening on the palate. Silky is actually the word for it. Oh, that's nice. Not profound, but yeah, there's definitely a silkiness to this, which I totally appreciate. Yeah, the wood, again, the wood is there, but the mouthfeel on this is just really velvety soft. You ever drink like high-end Rhone whites, Cointreaux, Chateauneuf du Pape Blancs, that kind of stuff, where those just have a way of almost like, you know, kind of massaging your mouth as they're drinking. They're very kind of full, and you know, maybe not bring a lot of acidity to the table, but they have that textural lushness thing. That's kind of what this is doing. It just feels nice in my mouth. I should probably get some flavors on the table. A lot of cinnamon stick going on here. Not really the grapiness from the previous one in the spring. This is about cinnamon stick, orchard fruit, nectarine, peach, a little orange in there, black pepper. and black tea again. But really, it's less about for me, the fun of this is less about the individual flavor notes and just like the way it delivers what it's got. The main shortcoming to this right now is it doesn't smell much. So I'm hoping water will correct that. All right. Let's move on to number 3, which is our first JLP. And I mean, I don't know if you can tell, but look at the difference in color between these two. The JLP, this Grand Champagne Lot 75 A-Fish Selection, is way darker than the previous one. It is also bottled at 54.2% alcohol, considerably stronger than the last two. All right, let's see what we got. Look at that color. That looks like it's been in cask for, 40, almost 5 decades. This one is also a little bit aromatically not forthcoming. I'm getting a lot of cinnamon, a lot of cardamom, sort of Christmas spicy stuff. White pepper. Some clove. Figs, prunes, dates, French oaky kinds of stuff. Little hints of raisin and maybe like one, dried flower in the back there to remind me that this is cognac, but really it smells like a little bit of a wood bomb. And it's okay. Wood bombs are nice too. All right, let's see what happens on the palate here. Oh, that's a wood bomb, but nice. Again, let me try this again because I'm not right now. I'm just getting the like coffee cakey, Christmassy, spicy stuff. So let me try again. Yeah, really, really, really dominated by coffee cake and Christmas spice, cinnamon sticks, cardamom, clove. Black pepper, overstewed tea, some coffee notes, like really more cafe drink notes, like a latte or something. Very long, grippy, oaky finish. There's the dried fruit on this. Your figs, your dried cherries, that kind of stuff. But really, I'm a little bit disappointed this is not bringing more to the table. Most of what I'm getting is those sort of secondary notes, the oaky notes. And it's a nice oak bomb, but I do want a little bit more. Let me put it that way. That being said, for what it is, I do think it is probably scoring a hair bit higher than the previous two. All right, let's move on. Wait, let's give this a couple squirts of water and then move on. So with the last two, I'm really hoping water opens up the aromatics, maybe bring some other flavors to the table. But I don't know. Let's see if that's enough. Oh yeah, water's going to improve that a lot. A lot. All right. Moving on to the fourth glass. We are back to Grosperrin. This is another Petite Champagne. This is a 71, lot 642, bottled at 48.1% alcohol by volume. So we're taking a little bit of a step back from the last JLP. All right, on the nose. Also, again, not very forthcoming. Are these all going to do that? We shall see. Also, not especially forthcoming on the aromatics. Before I started this video, I left these out to take on air for about, I don't know, a little less than 10 minutes. But still, these are not talking as much as I was hoping. This one smells quite musty. It smells musty, I mean, in a nice way. It smells, you know, like a slightly damp, musty basement with lots of like wooden furniture coming around, lying around. It's not as aggressive. It's a rancio note, but it's not as aggressive as you would get on, say, some old Armagnacs. This is much more reserved. It does not come across as woody as those older Armagnacs, or indeed as the last JLP. Yeah, musty basement with lots of wooden stuff. Some dried flowers. A little bit of Christmas spicy stuff. Cinnamon, peppery, clovey thing. A hint of nutmeg, maybe. But I tell you, I'm struggling with the last three to really pick out notes on the nose. I did just get over a cold, so maybe that's have something to do with it. But But I didn't have that problem with the first glass, so I don't know. Who knows? On the palate with this. There we go. Oh. Actually behaves not unlike the previous Grand Champagne in the sense that this feels more about the texture than about the, you know, massive flavor profile. So, I mean, the actual flavors are, you know, pretty darn simple. Dried peach, orange peel, little, not pear, quince, a little quince in there. Some dried fruity notes, figs, prunes, dried raisins, some spicy notes, cinnamon, that sort of thing, clove. That kind of fun musty note I was getting. Fairly brisk finish, but a long kind of clingy finish doesn't feel like this is what this is going for. Like the previous Grand Champagne, this feels like it's meant to be silky and just lush. It feels nice to have it in my mouth. In terms of, how do I put this? On initial contact, I thought this was maybe the better cognac, but now that I'm spending time with it, I mean, it feels more musty. It feels more kind of old spirit, but I don't think that necessarily makes it better. So, but what's gonna tell the tale is, you know, how it behaves with a splash of water in it. Okay, so I'm gonna give this at least one squirt. Do like a bit more. And we'll come back to that in a minute. Okay, and then the last two JLPs. I'm excited. Okay. This one is, what is this? Jean-Luc Pasquet, Grand Champagne, Aficionados Selection, Lot 70. So this is a 1970, and it is bottled at 52.1% alcohol by volume. Let's go. Also woodier than the previous one. I think maybe these JLPs, I don't know, maybe the pickers for these really liked wood, or it could just be that JLP tends more woody than Grosperrin does. But yeah, I'm getting a lot of wood. Overstewed tea, latte, not even latte, it's a little more like a cortado. You know, more espresso rich. Lots of flowers, though, as well. Dried fruits. So dates, prunes. Actually, even some fresh plum in there, not just prunes. Hints of that metallic note I was getting actually in the very first glass. So there's a hint of almost, you know, rust again. Honeys. Mixed honeys. I'm trying to nail down that flower note, but I really can't. It just feels like, miscellaneous dried flowers, touch of grass in there. Right. On the palate with this. It's a very good cognac. A lot of wood on it again, but it isn't as much the bomb as the previous one. It's bringing a little bit of that musty basement note I was enjoying in the previous glass as well. I just noticed we're only like 20 minutes into this. Like, I was scared I was, gonna be here for an hour, but man, maybe we can polish this off in 40 minutes. Let's go. All right, trying this again. So the French oak is definitely in the lead on this. This is absolutely dominated by raisins and prunes and figs and dates and dried cherries, a little bit of dried apricot. I mean, that's ruling the show. But unlike with the 75, which when I on first contact was just all about the oak, this time you've got other elements in there which are like, playing supporting roles. They're being best supporting actors and actresses to kind of help pull this off. So there's the kind of musty wood note again, which adds a little character to this. The flowers are very present on the palate. Yeah, there's even a little bit of like, not quite peach, like peach juice or something like that, like peach, or like peach preserves, but not sweet, if that makes sense, going on. Oh, did I mention the spicy notes along with the dried fruity notes? Lots of cinnamony spicy notes, that kind of stuff. And even like an apple cheese note. There's a little bit of like dried apple happening. Grippy, woody finish, lots of overstewed tea, coffee notes. What I like about this one better than the previous JLP is, again, the wood isn't completely kind of ruling the show. Nice. Good cognac. Add a little bit of water to this. Let's see, 2 squirts. Is that good enough? I think that'll be good too. And finally, the JLP lot 6872 Aficionados selection, 57.1% alcohol by volume, which is the strongest glass here by far. But will it be the best cognac? We shall see. Again, this is very shy on the nose. It does smell woody. I'm getting a lot of, black pepper, like wood smoke. Some dried fruit notes coming through, but also like a Swisher Sweet smoke kind of note happening. So like fruity smoke. Yeah, lots. Okay, now that spending some time with it, it's actually more open than the previous couple have been. Dates, figs, again, some raisins, prunes, apple cheese, definitely coming through on the nose. It's peppery. I'm not getting overt like cinnamony notes on this, which I would have expected, but they're not really there. And a hell of a lot of like overstewed English breakfast tea. Yep, and that's kind of what I'm getting. Not a lot of floral stuff on this. Maybe if I really hunt for it, but not really. Okay, let's see what happens on the palate. So the sheer alcoholic oomph on this gives it more presence on the palate. I don't necessarily think that makes it better, but let me see. I'm getting a lot of black pepper on this. That kind of like wood smoke and fruity smoke kind of thing. It's very smoky by Cognac standards. But beyond that, yeah, we're getting the overstewed breakfast tea, a mix of honeys, more overstewed breakfast tea, some rancio notes, like just biting into old furniture, that kind of thing. Still not really getting cinnamon, but there's a lot of black pepper and a lot of, yeah, like smoky stuff. And I mentioned the dry fruit, didn't I? There's lots of dried fruit too. You know, again, it has more presence in the mouth. It's more grippy. But my suspicion is once I add water to this, like it's not necessarily going to have that much of a head up over the other JLPs, especially the 70 here. Yeah, I'm curious. It's all going to come down to how these behave with water. So let's give this a couple squirts, at least 2, probably 3. Yeah, we'll go with 3. Okay, and let's do another round of these. Back to our Grosperrin 83. Now with some water. This was one I found fairly herbaceous before, right? No. That was the second one. This is the one I was finding, like just very, very framboise, like very fruity, grapey, slightly floral, and it continues to do that. I mean, is the word in the world of in the broad world of spirits, is something like this worth, I don't know what they're charging for this, $150 on European retail, something like that? Ultimately, is the quality of this absolutely worth that? Maybe not, but it's really beautiful and nice. This is nice. It's nice to stick my nose into this. There's just lots of fruit and, there's some flowers, some honey, the brown sugar thing. It's not a profound nose, but it's a very pleasant nose. Again, for those of you born in 83, you're not going to, buy this because it's a profound bottle. It really isn't, but, I mean, if you plop this down at a party, like, people are going to like it. Like, this is just nice. Well, I don't know. I haven't tried it on the palate. Let's see. On the palate, here we go. Same story on the palate. It's nice. It's really nice, actually. I mean, it's just not, it's not fighting me. It's not challenging me anyway. It's just really enjoyable to drink. The finish, I mean, if I think about it, I can pick this apart. The finish is not holding very long. It doesn't even go that far back in my mouth, considering how old this is. Like, it's really stopping right at the end of my molars, and that's it. That's the end of where I'm feeling it. But that's not really what this is about. Hasn't really developed much. It's just kind of, except there's a little bit more of the kind of grassy character of this has kind of taken, it feels more grassy in the mouth. And that's giving it has a little bit more texture now. This is really just about being a nice, fruity, slightly floral, slightly woody cognac that's, ready to go, easy to drink. Score-wise, where would I go with this? It's a little better than an 85. I would call this an 85 plus. I could tell you this. If I'm going to someone's 39th birthday and they got this on the table, I will be very happy to drink it. Do I think it's an extraordinary value and a must-have in the world of spirits? Maybe not. Anyhow, let's move on. 85 plus for the Grosperrin 83. Moving on to the 82. This is again a Petite Champagne. Now with a little water in it. This was the first one that was a little bit aromatically challenged. And it really hasn't opened up very much. Which is annoying. I was really hoping that these would kind of kick open for me when I added water, but they just aren't. Still very kind of herbaceous, a little bit of honey creeping in the nose now, but like bitter honey, forest honey, honeydew honey. And pepper and a little bit of like an ash thing, which is nice. Let's see what happens on the palate. This one actually falls apart a little bit when you add water to it. And don't say I overwatered it, because I only gave it a squirt and it's at 46%. So, and it doesn't feel like it's drowning. It's just, it don't like water. Yeah, so like herbaceous peaches. Like take some peaches, saute them with a bunch of mixed herbs. That's kind of what you're getting here. And it's nice. Oh, and throw some black pepper in there as well. Maybe like some ash. Or you're trying up the peaches, you get a little, caramelization, that kind of thing. This really, I like this. It's okay. It feels like it really should be better than it is, which is sad for me because this is, again, a birth year cognac for me. Yeah, on the palate, it's pleasant. I'm enjoying that kind of herbal spicy peachiness thing, but the finish doesn't really hang on, and it doesn't have a lot of depth in my mouth again. What I score this? I'm tempted to give it an 84 minus, but that's a little too cruel. I'm just going to call this a straight 84. This is an 84-point cognac. It's okay. It's all right. But definitely I would not take this above the 83, the little Fin Bois. I like this one better. Okay, moving on to our first JLP. This for me was the biggest wood bomb of the bunch, so let's see if water has brought out the other elements of this or just more wood. Ooh. Hello there. Okay, so so a lot of the same elements are there. The French oak notes, the cinnamon, pepper, and dried fruit. That's French oak. But now I am getting, believe it or not, a Tootsie Roll note in this. And it's very obvious. Yeah, like floral Tootsie Rolls. That's really fun. Oh, I like that. That's great. Or really, back up. So it's Tootsie Rolls and Yoo-Hoo. Remember Yoo-Hoo? This smells like Yoo-Hoo and like dried fruit and black pepper and a couple of flowers. That's what this smells like. plus maybe some cafe drinks and tea on the side. And I'm really enjoying this. This is kind of cool. All right, let's see what happens. I'm darn excited to try what happens on the palate. Let's see what happens. I can't quite follow through on the fun of the nose on the palate, but it's still pretty good. Armagnac fans, if you were looking to try a cognac that's not going to challenge you too much, that's still going to be delivering all of your beloved oaky goodness, this is a great choice, this JLP 75. On the palate does not open up as much as the nose. I'm still getting a hell of a lot of oak, overstewed tea, black pepper, a little bit of floral goodness, dried fruit, cinnamon sticks, and cardamom all over the place. Nice. I like it better than it was when I was just having it neat, but it's probably. I'm still only going to give this like an. I shouldn't. I was going to say 87. Let's call it an 87 plus, because it really does. The nose really does improve with water. Even the palate. I'm understating the palate. The palate does get more grippy and more assertive. With water, the finish lasts forever, and I feel like I should give some credit for that, even if it is like the wood. It's the wood doing it. Yeah, 87 plus. 87 plus. I am comfortable with that score. Let's move on. All right. Next up, we're back to Grosperrin. This is the 71 Petit Champagne. This was the one I found to be like a mustier version of the 82, right? Let's see if it beats that. Oh God, and water really does bring out the musty stuff. Yeah, it's damp cellar, 4 days. Wet furniture where you're starting to worry about mold problems, maybe a little bit of mushrooms growing down there. Still a little bit closed in the nose, but I'm really enjoying this domination by the musty notes. Okay, some pepper and black tea notes coming through now. Okay, on the palate. Oh. So, let me try that again. Okay, well, there's parts of this I like. The water really brings out the oak, but in a good way. I'm getting a lot more cinnamon here, more clove, more kind of a nutmeggy thing. It's more grippy. The finish, the finish is actually a little bit longer than the previous one, than the JLP 75. There's a lot of oak in here. It's just kind of hidden away in a way that it wasn't on the previous one. What I'm kind of making a face about is, with water, it brings out a little bit of a astringent bitterness. That musty note becomes a little too much, a little too bitter. To the point where it feels like I'm, chewing on wet newspaper a little bit. But I don't think it's flawed. I think it's just kind of how it is. Yeah, it's really a story of two cognacs here. certain aspects of this I really like, but that kind of, bitter damp newspaper thing is kind of ruining this for me on the palate. I still kind of like it though. Score-wise, call this an 85 minus, I guess. Yeah, I'm going to call it an 85 minus because it's still pretty good. It's still pretty good, but it's just brought down a little bit by that kind of by the flaw that it's got. Moving on. Wow, my mouth is getting a workout today. Keep your mind out of the gutter. Moving on. Back to this lot 70 JLP. Here we go. On the first run through, this might have been my favorite of the bunch. Despite the fact that the nose is pretty darn closed. It doesn't, and it's still pretty darn closed. It doesn't feel like it's really developed very much. But I'm still getting a lot of Christmas spice, slightly floral, mixture of orchard fruit and dried fruit, and like tea and coffee stuff. Not a ton of development on the nose, and the nose is still, kind of shut down. All right, let's see what happens on the palate, though. Sorry not to leave that radio silence for so long. Because I'm trying to wrap my brain around this one. This is very good. This is an extremely good cognac. Technically, with the exception of maybe the nose being a little too quiet, this feels almost perfect to me. Like if you were to try to come up with a textbook example of what an older cognac should be acting like, this is pretty close. Like, there's a lot of wood on this. There's a lot of oak. It's very drying and bitter on the finish, which lasts forever, by the way. It might actually last longer than the previous two, which had very long grippy finishes. This might be the biggest of the bunch. But along with the dried fruit and the pepper and the Christmas spice and the kind of, huge overstewed tea tannin finish of this, there's some fruit. There's some fruit happening. There's some apple cheese. There's dried quince, dried peach. It's a little bit floral still. It's bringing together all the stuff I really love about cognac. And yet, as I'm drinking it, I can't fall in love with it. One more time. It's so well integrated. It's really, really good. I want more from it. I want more weirdness. Give me some acid on this. Give me some more earthiness, some more flowers. Like go out of your lane a little bit, I mean, this is an A+ student, but I feel like I want to take it out in the town, drag it to the grittier part of town. You know what I mean? Still really good, though. That is a wonderful cognac. Oh, sorry, I'm making a mess of my notes here. What am I going to score this? 88 feels too low. I'm going to give this an 88 plus. I can't make it to 89, but it's right there. In fact, people who enjoy this style more than I do would probably give it an 89 or higher. But I can't get there. I want a little more adventure in this, and I'm not getting it. Good cognac though, really good. All right, and finally the 68 to 72 JLP. Here we go. Also not much development on the nose with this. But it still feels very cinnamony, very spicy. It's not bringing the floral notes. I mean, honestly, this smells very Armagnac-y. Okay, on my palate, here we go. This is another one where I have to stay radio silent for a while while I think about what I'm going to say. Those of you who like kind of modern, America-friendly Armagnac, you know, that kind of very woody style that still brings a little bit of fruit and a little bit of kind of character to it. Try this. Like, really give this a shot. Because it's basically doing the same thing. It just says cognac on it and not Armagnac. Yeah, it's really... The French oak is running the show here, but it's still got the kind of peach preserves thing. It's even got a little bit of like a lemon zest sort of action going on. Yeah, this really reminds me of a lot of the L'Encantadas, the sort of modern, super oaky, but still really good and classical Armagnacs that I've had. So if you are sort of starting to get bored of those and want to experiment, I would go with this. In some ways, the same complaints that I had about the 70 are applying here. I want a little bit more. I want a little bit more adventurousness. And I actually think I like the 70 a little bit more. It's just kind of a little bit more buckled down in what it's doing. But there's a certain segment that I think will absolutely enjoy and appreciate the aggression that this 68 to 72 is providing. So I'm going to give this an 88 points. Just a hair below the 70. And there you have it. So let's review all this. Maybe I can get out of here before I hit 50 minutes. In last place, the 82, which is my birth year. The Grosperrin Petit Champagne 82, lot 570. It just feels basic. It just feels basic. That's all I got. For something that's 40 years old, it feels like it should have more going on. It just doesn't. All right. So that is DFL. In second place is the Grosperrin 71. The Petit Champagne, lot 642. This is good, but it does have that kind of wet newspapery note, so 85 minus. In fourth place, this might actually be a little bit of a value. The Grosperrin Fan Bois 83, lot 488. I really, really like this. It doesn't have the depth of maybe some of these others. It doesn't have the, the kind of Brucknerian profundity. But, if I'm just grabbing a bottle of cognac to drink, I like this a lot. I like this a hell of a lot. So 85 plus for that. Definitely worth a grab, especially if you have a birthday next year. Beyond that, the 3 JLPs are actually pretty closely clustered together. The 75, 87 plus, really nice wood bomb that really just, the nose especially gets interesting with water. The second place, the 68 to 72, JLP, really solid, really I don't know, bourbon drinker friendly, if I can put it that way. 88 points. I don't know if this is worth 2 bottles of Blue Run. But you know what? May as well try it out if you have the money to throw at it. Oh, that's good. But my favorite, by a little bit, and the winner today is the JLP Lot 70 Grand Champagne. I'm sorry. This for me is just the most complete bottle here. Yeah, 88 plus. Do I wish it was just a little bit more adventurous? Just a hair. Just to bring a little bit more excitement to the table. Yes, I do. Especially for the price point it's at. But this is an absolutely beautiful cognac, and score is well deserved. All right, that's what I got. Thanks for watching, and cheers.